Hello and welcome to another episode of Lord Splodge Gaming. This time we're going to take a look at, excuse me, heavy box, Rebel.pl's City Tycoon. This is by Hubert Bartos and Lukacs S. Kowal. Now it's a Polish name, so excuse me if I've just butchered the pronunciation of that. This is a city sort of tile laying game with a bit of resource management. So let's, without further ado, have an actual look at how the game plays and how it sets up. And I'll come back in a bit and tell you what I think of it. So here we have City Tycoon set up as we would at the start of a game. In the middle here we have the 4 starting tiles. They're indicated by the S on the back of them. There is 2 parks and 2 city owned power supplies. So that's a water plant, sorry. And the other one is a city-owned power plant. Now, in a 3-player game, we take these 2 water tiles off the side, so you can go that way, or that way. And in a 4-player game, these 2 come off the bottom, so you can go that way out, that way out, that way out and that way out. But this is a 2-player example, so we have a set of water tiles that stop you building that way or that way. There's also a score tracker up the top here, and each player puts one of their tokens on the 0 position. And at the side here is the turn order track, and we'll deal with turn order in a bit, but for the moment it's randomly determined for the first round. So that's the score token. At the side of the game at the start there's also a stack of power stations and water plants that the players can build. They are issued in numerical order, so 1 to 6 for each of those. Each turn has a set of cards numbered 1 through to 4. There's 1 to 3 as an example here, and they are issued to each player, who then keeps one and passes them round. So we'll just go over that now. So this is an example of the 6 cards that was issued at the start. Now the first turn cards, they've all got a number 1, and the first player in turn order would look through them like so and would decide to keep one of them. So in this example, so I'm going to keep that one. They would then pass to the next player, who would then pick one. And each player does this. So each player's got their 6 cards, and they'll hand those around, and eventually they'll end up with a 6-card hand. Like so. So this is, let's say this is my hand here. Each player will be given money. Now the first player gets 20 million. And these little cardboard chips here. And the next player gets 22, and the one after that 24, and so on. And so the turn will proceed as such. Each person can choose to build one of these. So, for example, this factory here, I can build for 2. So I'd pay 2 and then place it at the side. Can't place it here, and you can't place it like so. It has to be flush with one end. Some tokens, some cards, sorry, like this one, have a green or a green and blue symbol. That means when this goes down, like so, you must then place a park or water, and park and water tiles are double-sided, next to it. So we put a water there. You can choose either side if it's got both, and a park there. When you play a card, you mark it with one of your tokens. So that's mine, and then you move on, and that proceeds. I mean, the other options are you can discard a card, which gets you $5 or $5 million. It gets you one of these. Or you can discard one and choose to build a power station or water plant. Now what you do is, starting with number 1. Now I've not put these out in order. They should go 1 through to 6. So there's number 1. Starting with this, discard and pay the cost of this. So this is 4 silver for that side, or 3 silver for that side. So on this side, you'll notice it's got 2 water symbols. That means it starts with 2 water on it, but they don't replenish. And on this side, it starts with 1 water, but replenishes each turn. So let's put that down there and mark it with the other player's token. So we take a token from the bag, mark that, and then we've got the supply phase. So once you've done laying tiles, everybody's laid tiles, you've then got the supply phase. So if we look at this token here, you can see that if I supply it with a good, I get 5 silver, and this symbol here means that when I build it, I automatically get 2 victory points. So what we do in that case is we would have moved the token for this player to 2 victory points, like so. Now these are good tokens, and you can get goods by getting power or electricity to other cards. So let's have a look here. And this one, for example, if we supply 2 water to this, it gives us a good and 3 silver. So let's imagine that that's down there. What you do is you can take a supply from the city and move it to here, but you can only take 1 token off. So we take 1 off there, 1 off here, but we'd need to pay 2 to the owner of this for that. You also need to pay $2 for each opposing square you pass it over. So if we were getting to this square, and the square above that was owned by the white player, $2 to buy it, it's free to move through the city owned tiles, $2 to there, so $4. So if I was getting any reward for that. It would take away, that's $3 reward, it would take away. So I would be losing money to deliver there, but I would be getting good. So we could then use the good, which I'd get, to deliver to, say, here. And then it continues with cards getting increasingly better as the turn goes on. So these are some turn 3 cards. And as you can see, the cost has gone up considerably. This is 22, but you get this. Now in turn 4 you can get extra victory points for having symbols that match. So there'll be a card that says for each one of these you'll get 1 victory point. So if I owned 4 of those, for example, I get 4 victory points. And at the end you trade in every 10 million you have, so that's worth a victory point. Add that to your total on the scoreboard that you've earned during the game, and whoever has the most wins. So that was City Tycoon. A pretty basic overview there. It's a fairly complicated game. You know, the 4 rounds of drafting tiles and laying tiles and delivering stuff. Once the city gets quite big in the later turns, you've got to really think about delivering power, water and goods, because you've got to try and figure out to lay a path to the tiles that you're laying, because if you start to use the other person's tiles, then the cost quickly adds up. The game has a couple of flaws. It's quite fiddly, there's a lot of pieces, and well, the tiles, the art on the tiles is a little bit, they're going for a modern look, but it tends to lead to some confusion when you're looking at the board overall. But it's an interesting game, and if you like sort of tile laying, sort of resource delivery type games, then it's a good game. But after getting Suburbia, and I think once I've got Suburbia, this one might not get played so much, but a good game and worth getting if it's the type of game for you. So that's it for this week. Stay tuned for more reviews soon. Thanks for watching.